November the 1st, sounds and smells. November sees the end of autumn and the first beginnings of winter. It tends to be a damp, dark, silent month and has been variously been described as pensive, reflective, sad, and having little charm. Heavy rain, strong winds, and cold, leaden skies are all quite typical, yet the dawns and the dusks can be sectionally colourful. For the Celts, the month was associated with the dead. They lit fires to encourage the sun to burn brighter, and the same tradition is still maintained today under the guise of Guy Fawkes Night on November the 5th. For the Anglo-Saxons, it was Wind Month, or the Windy Month. These winds can completely change the look of the landscape overnight, more so than in any other month. Trees such as cherries and ash, still with many leaves, can be completely defoliated in a single night. After storms, the bare vistas of winter are suddenly revealed, which will remain with us possibly for the next 4 months. The single most dramatic moment of the year for many animals occurs with the first frost. On this night, count freeze to death. The whole cotillion went on drooping plants and devastated window boxes. Other than collapsed plants and fungi, there are several other noticeable sights this month. Often there is a last flare of reds as trees lose the last of their leaves. In tandem with the disappearance of all the scarlet berries of last month, we now start to notice even more flocks of birds. Many will include new arrivals from further north or mainland Europe. If the weather is dry, people tend to comment on the crunch of leaves of the foot, or how unsteady walking has become when the leaves are wet. Enjoyable excursions to be recommended are visits to wildfowl collections and walking in woodland when it's not too windy. The sounds made by autumn gales as they blow through trees can be quite exhilarating. In fact, these sounds, along with the crunching and rustling noises underfoot created by dry leaves, are among the most memorable sounds of the month. Birds such as crows and gulls, normally so noisy, are far less so this month. Even our parks are quiet places, unless there is a wildfowl collection and ducks are picking new partners. Owls and foxes can still be heard at night, as squirrels are as noisy as ever. Towards the end of November, there is a noticeable increase in birdsong in our gardens, and not just blackbirds bickering over fruit. Although you might expect this month to be poor for interesting scents, with fewer and fewer flowers and far less insects for them to attract, this is definitely not the case. The air itself this month is often described as sweet. Certainly in woodland, there is the soft, sweet smell of decay. Wet, decaying vegetation has its own familiar smell, as does freshly dug earth. Both are commonly encountered in November, as is the smell of burning wood. Lower temperatures can mean flowers are now ceasing to release their volatile oils that make up their scents. However, if we bruise the leaves of common November wild plants such as mugwort, mayweed, black horehound, pineappleweed, and herb robert, there are still strong odours about. The bruised leaves of herb robert release a strong mousey scent. This plant has been long associated with Robin Goodfellow, the malevolent woodland goblin who takes revenge on anybody picking his plant. This has resulted in its rather alarming alternative name of Death Comes Quickly. In gardens, as you might expect, things are a little better, even though a lot of November gardens, plants such as asters, gentians, sedums, crocuses, colchicum, cyclamen, liriope, and schizostyrus may have no scent at all. Others, such as chrysanthemums, dahlias, marigolds, and snapdragons, are better known for their unpleasant scents. We certainly don't encounter the luscious scents of summer, such as honeysuckle and jasmine, that seem to float on the air. Instead, there is often a less enticing, strong spermatic odor emanating from ivy flowers. Shrubs such as viburnums, mahonias, coisia, roses, and osmanthus are all worth investigating, but it is the many salvias, which are still in flower in the early part of the month, that are the greatest surprise, as their leaves, when crushed, provide such an array of different fruity odors.